Hey everybody, this is Halstead and Andrew McMillan with REH CPA. Today we're going to talk about gig workers and people with side hustles, right? So we hear these terms a lot on the internet about people who have these side jobs that are probably driving for Uber, or they are doing food delivery, things like that. And what these people are independent contractors, right? So that's the classic term, is independent contractor. You hear it called gig workers or side hustling. But they're what's called an independent contractor, and they're generally paid on what's called a 1099. So we get a lot of questions on what those people need to do to prepare for tax season. I was going to ask Andrew today to give us some advice on what those individuals should do to prepare for tax season.
Yeah, so to get ready for taxes, the first thing I always like clients to do is, one of our best practices is to get a separate bank account to run all the income and expenses through. You don't have to do it, but it's definitely recommended because that allows you to track your income and expenses real easy. You don't lose things. The biggest thing is, forgetting a deduction here, or you bought something here for your business. I don't want you to lose any deductions, so we want to make sure we capture them all. So get a separate bank account, track all your income and expenses through that bank account so that we can pick up on everything that we can write off at the end of the year. Another thing is, keep your records, keep receipts, keep track of your expenses that you're paying. Gather your 1099s at end of the year.
Yeah, make sure you get all your 1099s.
Yep.
Of all the people you work for, make sure you have a checklist of everybody you work for and get all your 1099s.
Yeah, and you're also going to want to categorize your expenses. So there are some softwares out there that help you do this. For most side hustles and small businesses, it's probably not something that you can probably do it in Excel just as easy. Like, all your supplies, office equipment, travel, things like that. You want to categorize those expenses because that's how it has to be listed on the tax return. So try to do that. Keep track of all your expenses, and that's one step towards being prepared for tax season. Another thing is, when it comes to business expenses, be sure that you're tracking your mileage. A lot of times that's a good deduction.
Especially for your Uber drivers and your food delivery folks. Make sure you're tracking your mileage.
Yeah, and there's some really good apps out there. Uber may even let you do it within the app, but or it's pretty easy, but you can do Mileage IQ is another good app out there that allows you to track your mileage real easy. So be sure you are doing that when you do this contract
work.
Just
to kind of add on to that mileage thing, it's a really big deal to be able to prove what your beginning odometer reading is and what your ending odometer reading is.
Yeah.
So make sure you can prove that, right? Because if you ever go under audit, that's one of the big things they ask for, is to prove your odometer reading at the beginning, at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So another big deduction is the home office deduction. If you use a space for your business regularly and exclusively for your business, you generally can take a home office deduction. And another thing is just start setting money aside. If you're an independent contractor, you pay taxes at the ordinary income tax rate, but you also have to pay self-employment tax. Self-employment tax is a 15.3% tax on your profit from your business. So you figure out your profit from your business, you pay ordinary income taxes on that, but you also pay an additional 15.3%. So a good rule of thumb is 25 to 30% of whatever your profits are. You need to start setting that money aside for tax time, and you may want to make estimated tax payments. If you have more than $1,000 come tax time, as a general rule, you probably want to start making some estimates throughout the year.
Yeah, I think we've got a really good video that we've done on self-employment tax and Schedule C businesses. So if you get a chance, go back and check out that video. We go into a little bit more in depth. One of the questions that I hear a lot, people say, well, what kind of expenses?
Right.
What kind of expenses,
for sure.
Right? So they don't even know, they're not even sure what's deductible and what's not. It seems obvious to us because we do this all day, but for your gig worker, for your side hustler, they're not real sure exactly what they can take as a deduction.
Yeah, so anything that's ordinary and necessary for your business, that's the rule. If it's both ordinary and necessary for you to produce that income, it's a write-off. So, any type, if you need a computer or supplies or a car, something to produce that income, then that is an ordinary and necessary write-off for your business. So anything that you use that you need to produce that income, that's a write-off. So, but it does have to be both ordinary and necessary. So there's some situations where you can't go buy a $300,000 car to produce $2,000 of income.
Right? Is that ordinary and necessary?
Yeah.
Right.
So
so the IRS always has that ordinary and necessary standard. There's a lot of things that you can write off, but is it ordinary and necessary? So they always have that where they can fall back on that and deny deduction because it's not ordinary or necessary.
For sure. The IRS is smart. They know the game. So they're definitely leave it open for them to be able to come in and audit and pull something.
The biggest thing is they have really good documentation, track everything, keep it all organized, and then if you have any questions, you can come to us, REH CPAs, or another CPA that you trust, and we'll help you figure it out.
Yep. Yeah.